G'day, mate. Welcome to the Friday Facts. We've got number 294, and I'm joined by Mojo as well.
Hello.
Of course. Hello, mate. It's my birthday. I'm all over the place.
Sure.
So this is a really quick one. It's the blog thoughts and the Lua documentation, and really, it's breaking the fourth wall as far as the blog thoughts are, because it's Conan talking about the Friday Facts in the Friday Facts.
Yeah. He loves writing about the Friday Facts.
Yeah, I saw a lovely post today in one of the Discords. It was I'm trying to find it. Frequently on Friday Factorio Fabulous Fun Fan Facts as well. We're just putting in as many Fs as possible because,
because that's what you do.
Yeah, it was a Hoffney attempt. So, we've got the blog thoughts, which is, this is the nature of our weekly Friday Facts has changed. Back at the beginning, it was, hey, we're still alive, we're still developing. And now they cover, communicating their current progress and roadmap of what's coming up, which I love to read. And also I love that we get input. It's not always listened to, but we get input. We get to see the new features before they come. And there is a lot of times they've gathered feedback from what we've said and they have changed things, sometimes minorly, sometimes dramatically. Go on the technical side, which is interesting, but a lot of goes over a lot of people's heads. Meta posts about the company and changes outside of the game, which again tend to be interesting. Like the other one from last week had the media coverage with the 3 posts that went viral.
Oh, that's right.
And I finally got a chance to read all 3 of them, and they were actually really, really good. And I've since gone and looked up Brigadier, and it's on my wish list of games to buy.
There you go.
Haven't got around to it yet. And the community spotlights, which are always really, really good. Because of what I mean, I've normally seen them before they show up the Friday Facts, but they're still really, really, really good, and it's really good that we goes out and sees what the community does and then actually promotes them.
Yeah.
When the community does really insane things. So yeah. But yeah, they cover how it's each week they cover, they've got to try and decide what's going to be in the Friday Fact. When they're rapidly developing, there's always lots to choose from. But other times when they're doing bug fixing, we can take the opportunity to talk about marketing, same as last week. Because obviously they're still in the bug fixing thing and we can only read about we fix bugs for so many weeks in a row.
So many times.
Everybody gets bored.
And that really gets down to what this FF is about, is basically they've been bug fixing for the last week, so there's nothing really to talk about.
Pretty much it. They've been bug fixing basically since 17 came out, and they've slipped in some other bits of information here and there, and they've shown off a few things, but mainly it's been bug fixing. But they have put in this pretty graph, which is the unique Friday Fact page views per week, which is for an indie game, for a blog, I'm actually really surprised about these numbers. There's a lot more people reading it than I would have thought. I would have guessed half these numbers, to be honest.
Oh, really? I wouldn't have even been able to venture a guess.
If somebody had asked me out of the blue, I would have picked half these numbers. I would have said regular readers 10,000.
Oh yeah, 10 or 15.
Yeah,
doesn't sound unreasonable.
No. And we've already looked up the peaks. So we had the June 1 peak, which was the campaign concept.
It makes sense, really, because that's a big one. Because that also I know why that's so high. It's because people kept referencing back to it.
Yes,
because it had the tech tree.
Yes, but then again, 275, which everybody referenced back to again, which would have been, what's that?
17 science changes.
Yes.
1228.
Which was 1228. So right at the end of December. But that's got a really low bar on the pretty picture.
You're looking more towards January, so out of that slide.
Yeah, because I know I reference back to that heaps of times. But yeah, we've got this other peak here being early November, which was the Modern Biter, which was awesome and scary all at the same time.
I didn't look at that one. That was where they revealed the new biter, wasn't it?
It was. It's where we saw the new pictures, the new scary-looking biters.
That's the one.
Yeah, I think we were doing Friday Facts by then, I think. I don't know, I can't remember. I've been reading the Friday Facts for more weeks than I care to admit. I'm one of these guaranteed 25,000 people that read it. But yeah, since they've done the 17 release, they've stabilized around 40 to 45,000 views per week. And they've said it does not include the people reading the blog post through Steam, which Steam's a pain in the ass to navigate, and I know people love their Steam, but
yeah.
no.
Apparently, these are critical features missing from Epic, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, that is a whole other story.
I just threw petrol on that fire.
Yeah, you did. So the Friday Fact is close to 300 now, with no signs of stopping soon. The continued audience of dedicated readers each week helps to keep us on track and focus towards our quest of 1.0. As we get closer to completion of the game, the general nature of the blog post will no doubt change even further. I'm really curious what happens, not when 1.0 releases, but like a month afterwards. What happens to the Friday Facts then? Because the game's out. It's 1.0.
Guess it depends where they take the game once it's 1.0, once it's stable.
Yeah.
Released fully.
Yeah. It'll either be onto the content of the DLC that they're going to do, if they choose to do DLC.
If they do DLC, or whatever they choose to do. Maybe they'll do rolling updates. They'll just keep the same system they've got.
Maybe. Maybe it'll move on to whatever the new project is, but Factorio Friday Facts probably won't work as well if the new game's called something else. Just saying. But yeah, I love what Woob do. Woob really, when I talk to other developers, I'm like, if you're gonna do something and you want to put out regular updates, look at what they've done and just emulate it, because it's worked so well. It's so nice to have this guaranteed weekly feedback.
A lot of smaller developers do things like this with, the mechanism they use is very different, and the delivery also varies greatly depending on the company and who are involved. And this is actually one of the better ones.
It is, and more importantly, it's regular. It's every Friday. I know lots of other devs do some sort of update schedule, but it's when we remember, rather than this is hard in stone. Every once a week, we're going to have a post, whether it be once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever it happens to be. Having that deadline means, hey, by that deadline, we've got to have something to show that we can write about. And that's one of the things Woob has done really, really well and consistently, as far as I know, for almost 300 weeks, which is
pretty solid effort.
Yeah, pretty solid effort.
It's actually interesting because I was trying to think of a few other examples, like who does Prison Architect? Those guys. They used to do monthly roundup videos of all the new features of their update.
They used to do monthly videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of fallen by the wayside. I know Astroneer does a once a month or twice a month stream on Twitch, but it's like a several hour stream rather than a concise
thing you can read.
Yeah, a concise thing I can read or watch within 5 or 10 minutes.
Satisfactory, those guys have done they do a few streams, but it's very ad hoc.
Yeah, it is. It is very ad hoc.
Clay does one every 2 weeks, I think it was. Something like that.
I think so. I've never watched a Clay one because, again, it's streaming at stupid hours for me. So
yeah, and you got to go back and watch VODs. And
yep.
Yeah, and there's actually quite a few that do streams. I know of a few other bigger ones that do dev streams and update streams.
Well, actually, another one that comes to mind is the guy who does Creeper World. He does do a as far as I know, there's no pattern or regularity to it, and he does a 30-minute, this is the features I've been working on or the bug I had to solve video once every now and then. And don't get me wrong, he gets a lot of views for a one-man dev team working on
pretty good effort.
Fourth iteration of the same game. One, because it's a really good game, but it's not regular, and that's really the thing. I like to see regular. I like to see short. By all means, do a longer stream, show off more stuff, but give me a short, like within 20, 30 minutes worth of bang. This is it. This is everything that's happened in the last week, 2 weeks, month. You can see this regularly by going to this webpage or subscribing to this YouTube channel. Just that regularity and fitting into a time schedule, I guess.
Yeah. I would say that if anyone's thinking, gee, would be nice if Woob does something like that, and It's not officially sanctioned, but it kind of is. Our seeding sometimes does developing on stream.
Yeah, he does. He does. It's funny. He can get so many viewers just watching him code.
Yeah,
bugs.
or just yell at us. Not even yell at a screen. Just curse at a screen or sigh at a screen.
Yeah. Because something's gone wrong, and he spent 3 hours tracking down a bug to find out it's either something stupid like a syntax error or a typing mistake, or it's relying on some other bit of code that hasn't been implemented in his build yet, or something crazy like that. Sitting does them. You can go see him on Twitch. I can't remember exactly how to spell his name, but
Setting91.
That's it.
You'll find it if you just look on the Factorio channel.
Yeah.
Follow up. The other thing I was going to say was anyone watching, comment down below if they watch any dev.
Yeah. Look, I'd like to find more games that are like Factorio that have regular update schedules that are games that might interest me, because I like reading stuff like the Friday Facts and really getting into the background of a game. But yeah, speaking of the background of the game, we've got the Lua API documentation improvements by Bilka. So the Lua API documentation is one of the most valuable resources to modders. I've actually been looking for it and read through it myself. It is generated directly.
It's dense.
It is very dense. It is. If you see those posts on Reddit and then you look for the too long didn't read comment underneath, this doesn't have one, and it makes those posts look like just a sentence. It is yes, it is solid code. It comes straight from the game's source code, so it's great. It completely covers all the scripting functionalities. Additional pages cover some of the general concepts, such as what order mods are loaded into the game, and how to store data. It's the biggest issue is, and it's something I've even struggled to find, I've had to go to Google to find the damn thing, is they had it linked at the very bottom of the main page, below 2 long lists, and I'm talking like several screens worth of classes and events. And they're easy to miss, funnily enough.
Funny that.
So they've put it at the top. Seems logical to me. And that's pretty much it. It's that is the 2 paragraphs. They've moved it from the bottom to the top, and if you want to do modding or you're interested in coding, go to the link in the Friday Facts and start reading. I've been told Lua's not that hard. I have broken several mods myself and updated them to some success.
That's fun.
Yeah, it
doing
is
little
fun.
scripting things.
It is fun. It is interesting. I've really got to find out how the camera control one that we were promised, if it's in 17, how to interact with it, which should probably be in that big pile of documentation I should read.
It's actually the one thing that was stopping me playing around with it is I couldn't find it.
You couldn't find the documentation, yeah. So we've got to find out whether that works, because that's something I really, really want to play with. I think that's it for the Friday Facts. Yes? No? Another short one?
Yeah, that's it. There's not really much to talk about otherwise.
No, I think
they've just been bug fixing, basically.
Yeah, they've been bug fixing, and eventually they'll finish bug fixing, and eventually they'll mark it as stable, and then eventually Steam will update, and then eventually this Friday Facts page view will probably go through the roof for a couple of days because Steam's finally hit 17. Because I still have people stop in on when I'm streaming the community map saying, I can't find the multiplayer game, and I'm like, how are you on the experimental? Because if you're on Steam and you're still playing 16, you're missing out on all these fun toys, and you can't join the game because we're playing 17. So yeah, I still find a lot of people are still playing on 16 because they've got.
Yeah, it's pretty common.
Yeah,
you actually have to go pretty far out your way to update.
Yeah, not really. It's a right click in betas and change the update. You've got to know that it exists. I think that's the key thing. You have to know that it exists.
And also for some people, that is actually pretty difficult.
Yeah,
that series of operations is pretty challenging.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, I have done like 2 or 3 videos on how to update, and you'd be surprised the amount of comments I got. Thanks, mate. This was so helpful. I'm like, I'm glad it took 5 minutes to put through, and it's got 1,000 views plus because a lot of people didn't know it exists. Anyway, we're going to call it here for this Friday Facts. Thank you very much for tuning in for Friday Facts 294, and next week will be 295.
Yes.
So 6 weeks to 300. I'm curious what's going to come out in 6 weeks. That's really, yeah. Anyway, going to call it here. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.